I went into sweat alone. But two men were already waiting, and they weren't looking to talk. When they touched me, I forgot the rules. Before I continue with the rest of the story, kindly do me a little favor. Please hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to comment your favorite part of the story below. I love reading your thoughts and reactions. They truly keep me going. Now, allow me to take a moment to appreciate you. Yes, you, Rainbow. Thank you for making us a 600-strong community. Each one of you is a pillar of strength, color, and courage. This journey wouldn't be possible without your love, your voice, and your presence. You are making the queer community proud, and I see every one of you. Your support is not just a number. It's a movement. It's light in the dark. It's love, loud and unashamed. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for standing with me. Thank you for being you. The sauna door hissed open, releasing a cloud of hot, fragrant steam that wrapped around me like a velvet curtain. I stepped inside, expecting nothing but the comforting solitude of heat and silence. A place to escape, to be alone with my thoughts, to sweat away the chaos of the day. But the quiet I craved was gone. Two figures stood in the dim haze, their bodies outlined by the flickering amber light of the sauna's soft bulbs. They turned toward me, the heat from their skin mingling with the heavy, moist air. The warmth wasn't just from the steam. It was something darker, more electric, radiating off them like a current. Their eyes met mine, intense, dark, and hungry. No need for words. The silence was a language all its own. I could feel it vibrating in my chest, stirring something fierce and wild beneath my ribs. My throat went dry. I swallowed, heart beating faster, a delicious tangle of nerves and desire that made my skin prickle. One of them stepped forward, closing the small distance between us. His hand lifted slowly, brushing against my arm with a touch so light it was almost a whisper, but ignited every nerve ending it touched, sending a shiver that raced through me, hotter than the sauna air itself. I should have pulled away. I should have pulled my arm free, stepped back, made my escape, but I didn't. Instead, I let the warmth of his touch settle into me, unspoken and unapologetic, like a secret invitation I wasn't quite ready to decline. The door closed behind me with a soft thud, sealing us in this heat-soaked moment. Alone, but not alone. Not really. And suddenly, the sauna wasn't about sweating out stress anymore. It was about surrendering to the fire I hadn't even known I wanted. The sauna air grew heavier, wrapping around us like a thick, sensual fog. The steam curled and twisted, blurring the edges of the room and the space between us, until all I could see was their shadowed forms and feel the warmth radiating from their skin. One of them stepped closer behind me, his breath hot and ragged as it brushed the nape of my neck. His fingers moved with deliberate slowness, tracing a path up my spine, soft, teasing, and unbearably electric. I swallowed hard, feeling every tiny nerve ignite under that feather-light touch. The other man's hand found my hip, steady and firm, grounding me even as my body threatened to betray my mind. The heat of his palm seeped through the thin fabric of my towel, sending sparks of sensation that left me trembling. My skin burned in a way I hadn't expected, not from the sauna, but from their presence, their touch, their proximity. Every inch they claimed felt like a promise written in fire against my skin. I should have resisted. I should have pulled away, reminded myself of the rules, the boundaries I'd set before stepping into this room. But their whispered breaths, the subtle warmth of their hands, the way their eyes held mine with unspoken questions, it was impossible to hold back. Every breath they exhaled against my ear was a temptation, a silent dare. And with every second that passed, the rules I'd lived by seemed less important, fading into background noise of the sauna's hiss. I wasn't just standing in the heat anymore. I was melting. They circled me like shadows come alive, two bodies pressing closer from either side, closing it until I was caught in a perfect, heated triangle. Their hands roamed, bold, sure, tracing paths that felt both thrilling and forbidden. There was no hesitation, no asking for permission, only the silent understanding that this moment belonged to all of us. The steam thickened, blurring their outlines into soft shapes, and suddenly the room felt smaller, more intimate, like the world had shrunk to the steady rhythm of my own quickening heartbeat. Their lips hovered near my neck, breath hot and tantalizing against my skin. I couldn't help it. I tilted my head back instinctively, baring myself to them, surrendering to the rush of sensation swirling inside me. The tension coiled tight, wound around every nerve like a live wire. I was breathless, not from the heat, but from the danger and desire tangled together in the way their bodies moved against mine. Exposed, yes. Vulnerable? No, not with them. They were not strangers. They were temptation. And I was already too far gone to care. The space between us disappeared entirely. Their bodies pressed closer, the heat from their skin mingling with the sound of steam, creating a haze that wrapped us in its own secret world. I could feel every inhale, every slight shift of muscle beneath my fingers. One hand slid lower along my waist, tracing the curve where my towel barely held on. The other found my shoulder, fingers curling with a possessive sort of gentleness that made my breath hitch. Their eyes met mine in the dim light. Silent questions and promises exchanged in that long, charged glance. It was as if the world outside had dissolved, leaving just the three of us, suspended between hesitation and desire. I swallowed, heart pounding loud in my ears. The rules, the what-ifs, they all blurred and softened under the weight of their touch. And as their hands moved, slow and reverent, I realized something. I wasn't just a visitor in this moment. I was the center of it. And for once, I was ready to lean into the heat. Their voices were low murmurs, blending with the constant hiss of the steam. Words I couldn't catch but didn't need to. Every glance, every touch, was a language all its own, spoken fluently across heated skin and racing pulses. I was caught in the middle, the center of their world, their hands telling a story more electric than anything I'd ever known. Fingers danced lightly then with purpose, exploring curves and planes with an urgency that made my breath hitch. The weight of their presence pressed into me, two bodies aligned in perfect rhythm, moving as one without a single word of instruction. They didn't pause to ask if I was ready. They didn't hesitate. They simply took what was theirs. And instead of pulling away, I leaned in. I let the heat consume me, the tension build, the boundaries dissolve. Because sometimes surrender to the chaos is the only way to feel truly alive. The heat became almost unbearable, sweat mixing with desire. Their hands traced every inch of me, slow and deliberate, building tension that felt like it might snap. I closed my eyes, riding the wave of sensation, suspended in time between longing and release. This was no accident. This was a crossing of lines I didn't want to cross, but couldn't resist. They pulled back just enough to let me breathe. Silence wrapped around us, thick and charged, like the calm before a storm. Their eyes searched mine, asking questions I couldn't answer aloud. But my body knew the answer perfectly. Ready, willing, aching for more. Their lips found mine, one soft, one demanding, dancing over my mouth with teasing fire. Fingers traced curves. Hearts beat loud in the quiet. There was no rush, only the slow burn of two men showing me a new kind of pleasure. Every brush of skin, every stolen breath, was a promise we explore more than just the heat of the sauna tonight. We collapsed together, tangled limbs slick with sweat, the room still humming with the echo of our touches. I rested between them, their hands gentle now, tracing patterns of calm and satisfaction. No words were needed, just a steady thrum of shared heat, the quiet proof of a night that rewrote every rule I thought I knew. As the steam curled around us, I knew this was just the beginning of a story neither of us would forget.